kind of think of today?
Yeah, I mean, it really is the start of football. The grass basketball is kind of gone and behind us, and we got to play real football. Obviously, there's no tackling, and we got to take care of one another. But this is going to be the most competitive, besides the preseason games, that we're going to get until game one. So we got to maximize these days. Obviously, the rules have changed a lot in my 12 years now. But at the same time, we got to fly around, whether we're in pads, shells, or just jerseys. Whatever it is, we got to take advantage of it because the first game's coming, preseason game number 1 is coming, and we got to be the best version of ourselves come week 1.
And as far as the tight end room, obviously you're out there with a lot of younger guys. What's your been kind of assessment of how the group is performing so far in the first week of camp here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that we need to improve on, myself included. But at the same time, I think we have a really good group. It's a very competitive group. Guys understand that there's only a certain amount of spots, and yeah, we're pushing each other to be the best version of ourselves, but we also got to go out there and make plays and compete in every aspect. And not only on offense, but guys in the tight end room really have to be able to carve a role on special teams. And so I think everyone understands the situations that they're in, and I think it's a group with a lot of potential. So it's up to us to go in there and maximize it every day.
Hey, Zach, John Kine from ESPN. You talk a lot to Jaden after various plays and all that. What kind of things you think you're helping him with, and what have you seen in terms of his progression?
I mean, I think Jaden has done a phenomenal job. I've been impressed with him from the moment he got here. And the reps, like I said, are limited. And so every time we have a rep, I kind of want to stand back there and talk to him kind of how he sees certain things, because it doesn't really matter how I see things once the ball's snapped. I got to play on his timing, and I got to anticipate what he wants me to do. So I can't just go out there and do whatever I want to do every play. So we're really trying to hone in on the details and maximize the reps we have together, because he's not always with the ones, and knowing Marcus is doing a phenomenal job as well. But with Jaden, I really just try and communicate really to all the quarterbacks kind of what I see and if they want me to do anything different versus certain coverages. Because, yeah, the play is called one thing, but there's very minor details that need to be accounted for on every route.
So, and I asked Bobby this too, as you get more experience in the NFL, what are some things that you feel you're better at than when you were younger? And then part 2 of that is Dan Quinn was talking about your work in the red zone. He felt like that's where you can really stand out as you get more experience.
Yeah, I think at this point in my career, there's really not a coverage that I haven't seen. And so when I was young, the game is a lot faster than it is now. You feel like the guys are moving a lot faster than they are now. But I'm also able to play almost a step ahead or 2 steps ahead, because I understand what the defense is trying to do. So if they're playing a certain coverage, I want to attack where they're vulnerable. And maybe when I was younger, it took me a few steps into the route to really see what they were going to do on a certain play. But now I can pretty much understand what they're trying to do pre-snap. So I'm almost 2 steps ahead than when I was younger, because I had to react versus now I can anticipate. And obviously the red zone third down, game on the line are situations that I've always wanted to excel in. I feel like I've done that throughout my career, and it comes with a lot of trust from the coaches and the quarterbacks. But I take a lot of pride in that area as well.
Hey, Zach. Mitch Tischler, Monumental Sports. Speaking of the coaches, you played with Cliff in Arizona. Here, have you noticed any differences between kind of the way that he's coaching the offense from there to now?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Cliff so happy. He seems like he's refreshed. Every time he goes out to the practice field, he's eager. He's excited to work with the quarterbacks every single day. He's putting them through individual every single day. And so I truly believe that maybe that break from everything last year and him able to get this job and work with Jaden and Marcus and Sam and Jeff every day has really almost rejuvenated him. And I think I'm in the same boat. It's been extremely fun to be here. I feel almost like I've gotten younger since I got out here, just because how much fun I'm having every day. And so I think Cliff and I are kind of in the same boat in that regard.
And football-wise, for yourself, as you're going through this offense for a second time, are you noticing a lot of similarities in the way that he wants to use yourself or tight ends as a whole, kind of compared to what they did in Arizona? Yeah,
there's some similarities. The running game is, I would say, very different. Obviously, we have a different O-line coach. But at the same time, I've been in this league for so long, the schemes don't get too drastic no matter what kind of offense you're in terms of kind of the plays. It's how coaches want to call the plays in the game and how they want to put game plans together is how The average coaches are separated from the great coaches is in that game plan, and I think Cliff is one of the best in the league at coming up with a game plan to attack defenses. So obviously he was a big part of the reason I'm here, and it's been really fun to be back with him. Not only him, but really this entire organization has been awesome to be a part of.
Zach, Chad Ricardo with Fox 5. Today is also Military Appreciation Day. In a little over an hour, we're going to have 100 service members out there on the field doing many of the drills that you all do. Just want to know what that means to you as an NFL player to see the military here sharing the field with you all.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can give a long speech about how amazing it is and how grateful I am, but that even doesn't do it justice. You know, what those men and women do each and every day to fight for our freedoms is something that we'll never be able to repay. And it's something that I don't think anyone should ever take for granted, because we wouldn't be able to come out here and play a game without the sacrifices that they partake in every single day, being away from their families, sacrificing life, unfortunately, just so that we can have our freedoms here in the States. And so for me, I'm very appreciative to all the men and women that serve this country. And I'll never be able to repay the debt that I owe them or my family owes them or we owe them. And every time I see someone, I want to thank them for everything that they do. And I know those words don't nearly do it justice, but I hope they know every time they see me or that I greet them or I'm able to interact with them, it's something that I do with a lot of respect and gratitude. And I'm very thankful for everything they do.
Thank you.
Simone D'Alba, WUSA 9. Question for you. The energy from the fans this year is just incredible. And so having them out in the stands supporting you all, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's obviously awesome to be able to interact with the fans and have them at practice. We want to build off the energy. You know, every time there's a kind of a staff change or you draft a quarterback really high, there's obviously going to be fresh energy. We have a new ownership group, new GM, new coaching staff, possibly a new starting quarterback week one, or obviously a new starting quarterback week one, whether Marcus or Jaden. But we want that energy to be something that we're able to build on. It's not going to be a flash in the pan, something that is able to last. You know, this place has a lot of history. Obviously, I've been in this division for a long time. I understand what this team means to this city. And so for me, this isn't something that we want to just be like, oh, we had a great offseason. There's a lot of good vibes around the building and the city and the area. We want to build it every day, so this is sustained success. And it starts every day on the practice field.
Slight pivot. Your wife used to be on Team USA for the women's soccer team. They are dominating in Paris. Any words of advice, wisdom, anything to them?
Oh, man, it's just so much fun to be able to watch them. Obviously, we have a different vantage point. This is the first major tournament that Julie hasn't played in since, like, whenever her first World Cup was in 2015. So just to be able to see it from afar, Julie is obviously very in tune with it. She keeps me updated, but we are off to a fast start, like you said, and it's great to see the new coaching staff be able to come in and implement their ways. Obviously, their identity is apparent. Mal Swanson now is probably the best player on the field every time she steps on the pitch. So it's been fun to watch, seeing her healthy, and the rest of the team as well. Yep.